Welcome to TV Anthology Reviews. We will be doing episode 5 of season 2 of the anthology show Monsters. Love Hurts starts at the sexiest place in existence, the DMV, where romance is in the air between the girl Jewel and Vance. They flirt with reckless abandon.
Married?
Who wants to know?
The man you satisfy.
I love her accent. It's so overwrought and valley girlish. She talks like this the entire episode, so get used to it. She also looks and sounds like the third member of La Trim. And Jewel. Jewel wants Vance, but there's only one problem, and that is Vance's pesky wife. We get some cool scenes of Jewel and her friend Angie practicing voodoo. Jewel is the less experienced witch. It is the protege of the more mature and experienced witch Angie. Jewel, like a lot of headstrong proteges, wants to immediately cast a slave spell on Vance so that he will be with her forever. But Angie warns Jewel that she is not ready for a slave spell yet. Jewel first casts the
I could do the red agony, my eyes closed, standing on my head, half asleep.
Yeah, that spell first. That turns Vance's wife ugly with boils all over her body, but Vance still won't leave his wife for Jewel, so the witches have to get a little more serious. Jewel busts into the DMV and plays a sultry game of strip eye exam with Vance. He passes with flying colors. Vance reminisces about being single and partying every night. He explains he wants to be free from his wife and responsibilities, but he has to stay with his wife until her father dies so he can take his money and buy himself a new Cadillac.
Oh, Lord! I can just see you now, thundering down that highway like Mad Max and Road Warrior.
This makes Jewel excited, but it's also a dilemma. How is she going to get that pesky wife out of the way? Vance will stay with his wife even if she is ugly so he can collect the money from her father when he dies. Jewel convinces Angie to teach her a more evil, sophisticated spell. This scene is beautifully haunting.
Stop his breath. Stop his breath. Stop his breath.
They kill Vance's wife's father, but Vance still can't get the money for his wife's father's inheritance. She's holding it up since he is a terrible husband, and his wife is still mad that he was cheating on her. Jewel is not a patient woman and bursts into his house demanding to be seen, and is once again rejected. She is getting desperate, so she uses her last resort, the slave spell, the most dangerous of all spells. Oh yeah, she also kills her friend Angie. There are no good guys in this episode. Jewel is pissed off and on the warpath. I like some of the characters in this episode, but the killing of Angie seemed unnecessary and makes Jewel look truly evil. Her friend just warns her about the spell, and in retaliation she immediately takes her out. Vance is also not very convincing as a suave man that all the ladies want, and is just mean to everyone around him, cheating, lying, and hitting Jewel. The spell does work, and she gets Vance's soul to meet her after making love. She sends his soul back to his body so they can be with each other forever. They also mention that he is an organ donor at the beginning of the episode. The ending is grisly but satisfying and had me scratching my head at first. A zombie Vance comes to meet Jewel when she thought she was getting him as an intact slave, a very Tales from the Crypt ending. She thinks she is getting Vance the way he was when he was alive, but instead she gets a zombified version of him with his organs removed. After watching the episode a few more times, the ending, and I can't believe I'm saying this, actually almost makes sense. Jewel first takes his soul for one night, and then sends his soul back to retrieve his body, thinking his body would still be intact. But since he is an organ donor, they have already harvested his organs and his body has been torn apart. I was under the impression that as an organ donor, they wait a few days before taking your organs, but that is not the case. They actually start harvesting your organs minutes after you die. Jewel is played by Olivia Brown. She was in 111 episodes of Miami Vice as Detective Trudy Joplin. Vance is played by Henry Brown, who has bit parts in Lethal Weapon 1 and 3. Love Hurts was directed by Manny Coto, who has written a ton of TV episodes. He won a Primetime Emmy for the series 24, and wrote 11 episodes of American Horror Story and the spin-off anthology show American Horror Stories. Alright, next, episode 6, The Farmer's Daughter, where Soupy Sale spends the night in a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere with some rednecks. An episode that is in no way similar to the Tales from the Crypt episode, Death of Some Salesmen.
some ass.